Hey everyone. So in this video we are going to see how to use op-amp as a differentiator. So in my previous video I have shown how to use op-amp as an integrator and how to use op-amp as an differential amplifier. That is, it will amplify the voltage difference between two terminals, that is inverting and non-inverting terminals. So here can we use op-amp as an differentiator? So yes, we can use the op-amp as an differentiator. So it will give the differentiation of the input signal. So V out will be the differentiation of input. So it can be applied for DC as well as AC signals. So the output signal will be the differentiation of the input signal here. So what is the output of following signal? So if you can please stop the video and try to figure out what will be the output for this. So here is the answer. So for this one, as this is the constant signal, the output will be equal to the 0, because we know differentiation of d by dt of difference constant, that is 2, will be equal to 0. So basically differentiation gives the changes in the input signal. So from that we can guess where we can use this differentiator. So like suppose there is a sensor, that is temperature sensor LM35. So it gives a temperature of the environment surrounding it. So it will be constant up to some time and changes for some time. So it is a room temperature, let us say 27 degrees Celsius, and it goes up to 35 degrees Celsius at time. So this is T1 and this is T2, T0. So by using differentiator, or when we give this signal to the differentiator, it will give the output like this. It will be 0 for T0 period, and there will be a spike at the T1 period, and then it is 0. So this is T0 and this is T1. So this spike indicates change in the temperature. So it is constant over this period, that is T0, but at time T1 it has changed. So like this we can use the differentiator to detect the edges in the signal, or to detect the changes in the signal. So that's an application where we can use that op-amp as a differentiator. So likewise, for this one the output will be equal to 0. For this one, what will be the output? So the differentiator output will be the changes in the input signal. So for this one, the input changes here, so it will be giving a spike here. So this is negative, then it will give a negative spike. So for this one, again it will give positive spike. So it is just detecting the highest and lowest frequencies. So this is the highest frequency component, and this is the lowest frequency component here. So like that, we can use the differentiator to detect spikes or edges in the input signal, or changes we can detect in the input signal. So now coming to the circuit diagram. So circuit diagram is very simple, guys. So we have to just rearrange the equipments which we have used in the integrator. So capacitor will be here, and a resistor will be here in case of an integrator, so which I have already shown you, or else I can show you. Here it is. So no, it is a differentiator again. So I don't have currently integrator, but in case of integrator, the capacitor will be here and the resistor will be here. Okay, so we just need to interchange the positions of resistor and capacitor here. So capacitor will come to the input terminal and resistor will go to the feedback terminals. So it will be acting like a differentiator. So as we know, differentiator and integrator are opposite of each other, because differentiation is successive subtraction, whereas integration is successive addition. So if you interchange the component positions, then it will act as a differentiator here. Okay, so these are the two terminals, which are V1 and V2. This is non-inverting one, and this is the non-inverting. So this is the output terminal. So the non-inverting terminal, that is V2, is held to 0. So due to the virtual ground effect, the point V1 will be at a 0 voltage here. So V1 and V2 are at 0 voltage, and this is the input supply which is applied, and Vc will be the voltage across the capacitor. So In is the input current which is flowing. So it can't go into the op-amp, so that's why it will take the path, that is feedback path, and it will be flowing in the feedback resistor. So that's why we will be calling it as feedback current IF. Okay, so this is all about circuit. Now we want to let us find out the output voltage. So how the output voltage is depending on the input voltage and these RF and C factors. So if we know that, then it will be easy for us to design the op amp for our particular application. So apply KCL at node A. So we know that KCL, so if this is some node, then KCL says that amount of current entering the junction will be equal to the amount of current leaving the junction. So it says that basically net current at a junction will be equal to 0. So if these are the three currents, let us say I1, I2 and I3. I1, I2 and I3, and this is the fourth current I4. If these are the currents which are entering the junction and this is the current leaving the junction, then the sum of I1 plus I2 plus I3 will be equal to the I4. So amount of current which is entering the junction will be equal to the amount of current leaving the junction. So apply the same here. So the currents which are entering the junction will be taken in terms of positive, and the current which is leaving the junction is taken as negative. So I in is the current entering the junction and IF is the current leaving the junction. So I in minus IF is equal to 0 will be the equation. So I in is equal to IF here. Okay, so when we write current in terms of voltage, that is I in is the current which is across the capacitor. So it will be like a capacitor voltage, capacitor current. So we know that capacitor charge is given by Q is equal to C into V. And when you take a differentiation with respect to time, it will be equal to dq by dt, which is nothing but the current. So the rate of change of charge will be equal to the current. So it can be written as IC. So that is the current across the capacitor. So it will be equal to C because it is a constant. We have to take outside. Then differentiation of voltage VC with respect to T here. So I can write this input current I in with this term, that is C into dVc by dt. So I in will be equal to the C into dVc by dt, where Vc is the voltage across the capacitor. So the voltage which is present across the capacitor is denoted as Vc. So C into dVc by dt will be equal to the uh, so C into dVc by dt will be equal to the current which is flowing in the feedback network, that is IF. So it will be, here the voltage is 0 and here the voltage is V0. So 0 minus V0 divided by this feedback resistance RF here. So when you rearrange for V0, it will be equal to minus RF into C dV in by dt. So which indicates the output voltage will be depending on two factors mainly, that is the feedback resistance and the capacitance which we are using at the input, and of course it will be depending on the input voltage. So as the input voltage changes over a time, the output will be changing according to that. So this is the output equation, that is V0 will be equal to minus RF into C dV in by dt. So now let us try to find out some practical limitations here. So first we will try to find out gain, so that we will be knowing how, on what factors the output will be depending. So we know this equation, V0 will be equal to minus RF into C dV in by dt. So it can be written as minus RF into C V in. So now rearrange for gain. So gain will be equal to the output by input. So output is V0 and input is Vin. So gain is equal to V0 by Vin. So it will be equal to minus RF into C. So but C can be, C is nothing but the capacitance. So it will be providing reactance in the circuit. So to remove that reactance, we have to use the term Xc, which indicates capacitive reactance. So capacitive reactance is given by Xc, and which will be equal to 1 divided by 2 pi Fc, so where F is the frequency and C is the capacitance of a capacitor. So gain will be equal to minus 1 divided by RF into 2 pi Fc, because C is Xc, and C, when we replace it by 1 by 2 pi Fc, we will be getting my into term, because C is 1 by Xc here. Okay, so gain is depending on the frequency. It means as the frequency of the input signal increases, the gain will going to be increased. But up to what extent the gain will increase, so it has got a practical limitation. So here is the frequency response. So this is the open loop gain of an differentiator. So it will be constant up to some time, and as the frequency increases higher and higher, the gain decreases. So at 0 dB, that is at 0 frequency, the gain is less. That is, as the frequency increases, the gain of the op amp is going to be increased, but only up to this point, that is the intersection point of the open loop gap and the practical gain will going to increase up to this point. So from that it will follow the same path and it will come to the 0 again. So the frequencies which are above this level will be uh, um, neglected in case of this differentiator. So that's an practical limitation, so we need to overcome that one here. So due to this reason, if our input signal is very low, that is this much only, that is a low frequency, say f0, and the noise signal which is at a high frequency, then the noise frequency is considered as the input frequency and it is shown in the output characteristics. So it is very susceptible to the noise, so it is not possible in case of op amp in the general discussion to avoid the noise in the output. So that has to be overcome. And again, the second practical limitation is that so we are having, in case of input, the capacitor. So we know that as the frequency increases, the capacitance Xc will go on decreases, because Xc will be equal to 1 divided by 2 pi Fc. So as frequency increases, the reactance offered by the capacitance, so that is Xc will going to decrease. So Xc will going to, but for any practical op amp, the that is the expected characteristic is the high input resistance, so that there will be low consumption of the power. But in case of this, what will be happening is, as the frequency of input signal increases, the input resistance is going to increase, so the amount of power consumed by the op amp will going to increase. So to avoid that, we need to use an series resistance here, so that there will be a fixed amount of resistance in the circuit, as though this capacity. Okay, so grouping these two practical applications together, we can write these 2 points here. So the first one is, the op amp differentiator is sensitive to high frequency noise, as it will consider the noise as an input and it will give the output in terms of noise itself. So it is susceptible or sensitive to the noise, that is high frequency noise. So in low frequency it is okay, but when the noise frequency is higher, then it will create the problem for us. And the second point is, as frequency increases, the input impedance reduces. So as frequency increases, as I said, due to the reactance property of capacitance, the capacitor will going to act as a short circuit here, so it will be almost offering a zero resistance for the flow of current. So that we have to avoid. So how we can overcome these two problems or these 2 points here? So this is the modified circuit which you can use to overcome this. So we will connect an series resistance Rin to the capacitor to avoid the first point, that is to sensitive to high frequency noise. So what will happen here is, the total resistance at the input side will be going to square root of Rin square plus Xc square. So Xc is the resistance offered by the capacitor here. So this term, if it goes to 0 also, then it will be equal to the Rin at least, because the square root and this will going to cancel out each other and it will be equal to Rin. So we can ensure that R total is at least greater than or equal to the Rin at any time. But we know that Xc will be never will be equal to the absolute zero. So it will be always, R total will be always equal to the greater than, or R total will always be less than Rin. So because Rin and Xc will be add up. So if Rin is alright, so what will be happening here is, the total input resistance R total will be equal to the square root of Rin square plus Xc square. So by doing, we can ensure that the total resistance RT will be greater than Rin always, because at higher frequency also the capacitance will be offering some resistance, at least we can say zero point 0.2 ohm. So it will be in terms of 5 or 10 ohms also. So we can say 0.2 ohm also. So at that time it will be equal to the sum of Rin and Xe. So when we add up together, it will be greater than R total or greater than Rin always. So it will be greater than Rin. So we can ensure a fixed resistance at the input terminal so that the amount of power consumed by the differentiator will be less. So we have solved the first problem now. So that is the decrease in the input resistance as the frequency increases. So coming to the second point, so how to avoid the high frequency content in the input signal, that is noise. We have to use another capacitor here, that is a feedback capacitor. So it is given as CF. So it will be like one filter here, that is low pass filter, and another low pass filter over here. So it will give two frequency bands here. So the first frequency band is F1 is will be equal to 1 divided by 2 pi Rin into C, that is this combination, and the second cutoff frequency will be equal to the 1 divided by 2 pi RF into CF. So depending on the two frequencies, there will be having two cutoff frequencies, and the frequency response will be, this is the open loop gain, that is a ideal one. So coming to the practical, it will be for up to cutoff frequency F1 it will be increasing, and from this one, it is, as it is a low pass filter, it will block the high content frequencies, and it will only allow the points which are equal to these point. So it will be constant over up to second point, and from that onwards it will again decrease, because this is again a low pass filter here. So if you want to get the output exactly, then we need to use the frequency of the input signal which is less than the F1. So F input should be less than F1. Okay, so at that time only we will be getting the correct output for the input signals. So we can adjust this F input by F1 by using again the Rin and C. So we can change this Rin and C or RF and C to change the input signal. So depending on the application, we just need to change the input resistance and capacitance, and then accordingly set the input signal so that it will be less than the F1. So that point we need to take in mind while designing the op amp. So that makes lot of sense in designing techniques. So these 2 points we have to assume if you are if you are designing for the practical application. So that's all about the op amp as a differentiator. So I hope you like the video. Please guys, if you are new to the channel, please subscribe the channel, and if you are liked the content, then hit the like button. So thank you, thanks for watching, see you again.